Hi guys, and welcome back to the Elbow Down podcast. Uh, been away for a while, so welcome back, I guess. Joined this week by one of our former podcasters and one new guy. So Matt is back, American Matt,
Oh, how's it going?
for his sins, and we got a new guy in, Brad. So say hi, Brad.
Hi guys,
So
hope you're well.
what we're gonna do is hop straight into our awards show, and I'm hearing there's some spicy takes in here, so this could be quite fun. Or everybody's gonna have the same answers, and then we're all just gonna look stupid. But yeah, let's dive in and see what's what. So we'll go to Matt first for our Moto3 Rookie of the Year. So who did you get, Matt?
I put David Alonso.
Okay, why?
I mean, do I really need to explain myself on that one?
Yeah, it's a podcast.
I mean, look at his performance all year. He went from, I mean, just did anyone do better than him? Please tell me
Just
that right
wow,
now.
what a description. He
Yep.
just. Okay, so you've gone with David Alonso. I won't press you too much on it. That's fine.
Okay.
And for Brad, who have you gone with?
I've gone with Colin Vire. Reason being for that is I know he was a 2022 Red Bull Rookies runner-up, but he sort of swept in under the radar throughout the season. Obviously, he got the pole in Assen,
Mhm.
but he sort of like progressed in his race craft, let's say, over the year to get his maiden win in Malaysia, and I think the Malaysian win actually was a strong. How he managed to hold off Suzuki and Masia
Mm.
for the last lap. I thought he was phenomenal in that race, and he actually showed himself and looked like he'd been in the class a lot longer than what he should have
Mm.
been.
I back it. I gotta be honest, I back it. I haven't gone for him, but yeah, I was kind of hoping you'd be talking rubbish, but no, fair play. So yeah, Colin Via for you, and I've gone with David Alonso as well. Just because more because when he made his debut, he didn't really do much, did he? In Misano a couple of years ago, he looked way out of his depth. Jurgen Chev has transformed him as a rider, basically. And he's come in and, what is it, 5 wins? I don't know off the bat. And look at him now. He's probably going to be favourite for the title next year. So, my Moto3 Rookie of the Year was David Alonso. So, yeah, that's a good
Nothing
start. We
too
haven't all got the same.
controversial.
Yeah, that's a good start because we sort of had different answers as well. So, that bodes well for the rest of this. What about your Moto3 Rider of the Year, Brad?
Um, Masia for me, actually.
Okay.
The reason being for Masia is that he showed that he can be consistent enough to win a championship and not just be a one-off race winner and be nowhere in the next race. And I think more importantly, he done it on a Honda.
Yeah.
I think it was it October that was next Honda in the championship, I believe, and he was 11th. So it just
Yes.
shows how poor that bike is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that bike is obviously underperforming. And he managed to kick the ass of all of the KTM. So that's why Masia is my pick.
Okay. Yeah. I do think what we should consider as well, though, is with Leopard, I think they should almost be their own manufacturer. Because they're not a Honda. They're something totally different. They're just like a spaceship. It's nuts. So
Yeah, but
you're
that
gonna win
also
another one.
brings. Yeah, I think. I think that'll also bring on to the next question as well. That ties in, but yes, that is correct. But they're like their own manufacturer on their own accord, though, and still running off the same machinery. So it's the extra work that they put in to make themselves the winners. So
That's it.
yeah,
That's it. What about you, Matt? Who's your Moto3 Rider of the Year?
I went with Colin Vire.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
I thought with how well he did, uh, the fact that you would think with his height that it'd be a hindrance for how his attacking was like kind of poor in his junior classes. It wasn't the best, but
Hmm.
he did quite well.
Yeah. No, I can't disagree with that. I was quite surprised actually that he thrived as well as he did. So yeah. My Moto3 Rider of the Year was the same answer as my Rookie of the Year. I've gone for David Alonso again, for all the same reasons. he he just surprised me with how well he did, and I think we should look at that as a success. I had my doubts about whether he would succeed. I was proven wrong. Happy days. So on to our Moto3 Team of the Year, and Matt, who did you go with for Moto3 Team of the Year?
I went with Leopard.
Of course. Why?
I was hoping it'd cause a little turmoil in the chat.
No. I'm Team
No?
Leopard, me. I haven't actually gone for him, but I'm Team Leopard. Like, I think what they did was fine. So,
Perfect. Because I was getting a little bit of hate for that between some other people. So.
Yeah, you should have seen my DMs and the Facebook comments. If you haven't, go and have a look. Hilarious.
I might have to do that.
But yeah, why Leopard?
They're just, as you said earlier, they're like their own manufacturer. It's not even like this. It's not a Honda. They're so inventive and innovative with what they do. I mean, they go above and beyond with what they try, as far compared to other teams.
Yeah. Their parts are like what are you with their parts compared to the other Hondas? Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Brad? Who did you go for Moto3 Team of the Year? I think I already know.
That wouldn't, it wouldn't have caused no turmoil because it was Leopard for me as well. As Matt just said, that they, and as you just said as well, that they do sort of manufacture the best Honda out there. And I even heard that they were working with, I may be wrong, but they were working with Alpine Stars for aero in the wind tunnel with Messiah.
Yeah,
for them to take parts off his suit to tighten it up.
Yep.
Or make it more aerodynamic in the wind tunnel. That's what makes the difference between a good team and a great team to me. They're not even just working on the bike; they're working on parts of the person on the bike.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Wow.
I don't know how much difference it made or whether they found anything, mind you, but it definitely did happen. Yes.
Well, I mean, any small change they can find in the Moto3 class, I'm sure, with being in the draft so much, that it's got to be massive. There's no way that it's small aerodynamic changes are just a small change. It's got to be somewhat beneficial.
If you're going to change it, it needs to be big, doesn't it? So, yeah. Even if it's just 1 mile an hour, the difference that can make in the draft could be 4. So, yeah. I like Leopard, but my Moto3 Team of the Year was actually Intact. So, you're going to have to fight me, you two, because I will actually argue this one. Because I think Intact had the best team. They had, although if you had said to me Sasaki finished second in the championship without winning a race and Colin Vire would win a race, I probably would have laughed at you at the start of the year. But they like, I don't know how to explain what I mean in great detail, which is good for a podcast, isn't it? But it's like they just seem to be the team of the year. The way they work together, the way they would go out in sessions together, the way they would help each other for the most part. Like, we did have a quick bump with Vire and Sasaki at, I want to say Catalunya, probably wrong, but I don't know, somewhere
probably because wasn't Peter Ertl and Max Biaggi, were they running that team last year? Right?
Well, it was just Ertl. Biaggi had left at that point, but he was Biaggi previously. But yeah,
probably why
probably. But yeah, for me, my Moto3 Team of the Year was Intact GP. Husqvarna, I suppose is their full title, but yeah, Intact were my Moto3 Team of the Year. On to more spicy ones now. So your Moto3 Surprise of the Year. Matt, who was your Moto3 Surprise of the Year?
I had Colin Vire. Just as you wouldn't have expected at the beginning of the year, being the rookie and how well he did, and as I said before, his height you would think is a little bit of a hindrance, but he did so well.
Yeah. I again, what can we say that hasn't already been said about him? Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
What about you, Brad? Who's your Moto3 Surprise of the Year?
Well, my surprise of the year is the surprise, because if you had asked me at the start of the year, I would have put my house on it that he would have not had a ride for next year and been dropped from the category altogether, and that had Messiah.
Yeah.
Due to having plumb right and being extremely inconsistent. You think he went to Leopard, then 2 years at IO,
Yep.
and then he's come back to Leopard. That seems like the last string of his bow.
Hmm.
And given previous form, I thought he was going to be on his arse at the end of the year. So he's surprised me for not only winning the championship, but actually being able to be consistent enough to put together one.
Yeah, and do you know what? You've just taken the words right out of my mouth because I also went Jeremy Messier. I thought this was Last Chance Saloon, but yeah, fair
Yeah.
play to him. Like he's stepped up when it mattered, got himself. Now he is out of the category, as you've said, but up, not out. So
Yeah.
fair play to him. He this was definitely Last Chance Saloon. He's 23 now. If you ain't gonna win it at 23, you're probably not gonna win Moto 3. So he's
No.
performed when it matters. So yeah, my Moto 3 surprise of the year was also Jeremy Messier for the exact same reasons. And now our final one in Moto 3, and probably the one that I'd imagine was quite hard for a lot of us. Who's your Moto 3 disappointment of the year, Brad?
Suzuki.
Oh,
Reason being is I expected him to be a title threat, and quite the opposite to Messiah. I would have put way more money his way being a title threat
okay.
than Messiah actually getting dropped from the class. And he's really disappointed, to be fair, this year.
Yep, season ended early for Tatsuki Suzuki, sacked by Leopard, unofficially, but was sacked. Don't know why, don't ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was
Well,
sacked.
I actually looked up as to why as well, and there's nothing to say why he was sacked. So.
Yeah, so you've got to imagine it's like a breach of contract or something. He's obviously done something very naughty, and he lost his ride. Although it could be the 300 grand Adrian Fernandez brought, but I'm pretty sure that ain't it. But yeah, Tatsuki Suzuki is a good shout for Moto 3 disappointment of the year. What about you then, Matt? Who's your Moto 3 disappointment of the year?
I had Chevy Artigas.
Oh, okay.
He just seemed like he had an inability to excel on the bike with the being on there for a second year. He really didn't like make any improvement.
Mm.
He just, I was really expecting some better things out of him.
I agree. He's flattered to deceive this year. He's very lucky he's managing to go up on a 3-year contract with Forward next year. Like
Exactly.
I think when they're handing out awards, I think his manager deserves one because bloody hell, smashed it. My Moto 3 disappointment of the year was Ryusa Yamanaka.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was a little bit well, not even a little bit. I was very disappointed with Yamanaka. He as soon as the Jerez race ended, when his gear lever fell off, it just seemed to kill him. And you can't be wandering around in 15th to 18th on an Aspar bike. You just can't. It's just not the done thing. This is the Factory Gas team, title favourites, champions last year, and I think Garcia did end up third, but first and third in the year. Like, you gotta be excelling on that bike. And so Yamanaka, for me, he's one of the luckiest people out there at the minute that he still has a ride, and he's gone to MT, a very good team again. But I can't see him doing anything. If he couldn't succeed at Aspar, he's not going to succeed at MT. So, yep, unfortunately.
No, MT are good. I don't think they're an A grade team as opposed to Aspar.
Yeah, the way Aspar work is, it's conducive to success. And MT are just throwing the big bucks at it, but they haven't really got any training programs. No Nico Terol telling you what to do, this, that, and the other. So I like the Yamanaka. He's a really good kid, but disappointed on this year. I was really sad about that because I really did think he'd succeed, but he didn't. So that's our Moto 3 awards. Now for Moto 2. Moto 2 is my favourite class, so I probably have a little bit more to say about these ones. But we'll start with our Moto 2 Rookie of the Year. Brad, who was your Moto 2 Rookie of the Year?
Garcia.
So was mine.
I didn't, to be I didn't think he was going to adapt quickly, actually. I thought he would have been the worst out of was it 4 that went up last year?
Something like that, yeah.
Moto 3. Yeah, I think he was going to be the worst to adapt. Actually, I thought he was going to find himself with maybe another year and then out of a ride. But actually, he's got the bit between his teeth and outshone every other rookie this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Matt, who was yours?
I also said Garcia because he was in the points so much, especially early on. He jumped right on the bike and knew what he was doing with it, and just, I mean, to me, that's incredibly impressive to jump up from Moto 3 to Moto 2 and just be able to score points like on a very regular basis.
Yep. Yep, I agree. I also went with Sergio Garcia, so we got first across the board. For me, well, my final episode of the Everything Motor Racing podcast, we did predictions for this year, and I said Sergio Garcia would be Moto2 Rookie of the Year. I got laughed at. Who's laughing now, bitches?
I mean, I'm still laughing.
But yeah, I was really impressed with Garcia. I didn't think it would be as fast an adaptation as he made. So to be able to, like, what was he, fourth in Argentina in the wet conditions? Like, a rookie shouldn't be doing that on a Moto2 bike, especially on Dunlops. No offense to Dunlop. Like, it's just, you need like all wisdom says, you need a good half a year bare minimum to adapt to the Moto2 bike. Garcia's just laughed in the face of that. Like, he fully deserves his ride for next year, and I think next year he's going to thrive even more being on the Boscoscuro, because he did I think he's going to really suit the Boscoscuro chassis. He's same as a Guru actually, and not brilliant, but I mean, I think he did beat Agura though. But
well, that's positive.
I can't remember the exact
Hopefully,
position.
you get that magic setting.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, the Bosco seems to work on Pirellis, as we saw with we're going echo. It did seem to work on Pirellis, so yeah, it's just promising for Garcia. I'm really impressed with him. On to our Moto2 Rider of the Year, and Matt, who was your Moto2 Rider of the Year?
I had Tony Arbolino as my rider of the year.
Oh, okay. I will have to get you to justify this, sir.
I mean, he put up a pretty good battle the whole year.
Did he? Did he though?
I think he did. I mean, he finished out of the points only in 2 races. He
Yeah.
won how many? Was it 2 or 3 that he won this year?
Something like that, but they were all early
And
season.
was on the podium quite regularly. So I think he put up a good fight for the year.
I don't think I could back you that he put up a good fight, but fair enough. If
I
he's
think
your
he
rider of the year.
crumbled.
Go on, Brad, what do you say?
I think he crumbled.
Yeah, he did. He fell apart like a cheap watch for me. So there's no way I could give him a rider of the year when he basically ended up like a hard cheese. No chance. What about you then, Brad? Who's your Moto2 rider of the year?
Firmino again.
Oh, okay.
I think if you look at him, the past 2 seasons he's been on the speed up now, or 1.5 seasons.
Yeah. Yes.
He's had one flash of brilliance, which was in Argentina,
Ooh,
the end of this.
Whoa now, Chief. Whoa now. Hold on a second. One flash of brilliance. Whoa now.
Oh, yes, but I'm talking at championship level, running at the front. If we're talking a flash of brilliance of where you are outperforming every other rider on the circuit, then you're talking, yes, there is only one. However, this season, the reason he's my rider of the year is because there's 2 Boscuros on track. He hasn't got the magic Calyx file of data that he can scale through to get a setting that suits him.
Mm-hmm.
He's managed to find a magic setting with no real help. I mean, let's face it, he's got what's his teammate's name?
Alonso Lopez.
Alonso Lopez, who is just a dive bomber.
Yeah. Yeah.
There isn't really much to look on that unless you just want a lunge and close your eyes and hope you don't crash. So there isn't much to take from him. He's got a good feeling, which historically the Boscoscuros only worked at selected tracks. He's managed to find a good feeling, as it seems, in tracks where it wouldn't
Yes.
work historically. And it seems to be everywhere straight out the box. And it doesn't seem to me that he's really changing the bike, because you don't see him. He goes quick immediately, so it seems like that. Just unbox a bike and he's off. So I don't believe that's just down to him. It's down to the team as well. But obviously he needs to get the feeling to give them the feedback of what he wants. So I think he's matured over the second half of this year, and he's probably my favourite for the championship next year.
Yep, I would back that statement.
I could get behind that. That makes sense.
Well, based on what we saw of the speed ups on those Pirellis, it's one of those two, I think. But I didn't go Furman. My Moto2 Rider of the Year was nice and boring. Pedro Acosta. He just,
Lame.
well, yeah, it is, but like, how can you overlook him as Rider of the Year when not only did he win the championship, the earliest of the three classes, he also just completely battered everybody into submission. Like, there was no way he wasn't strong, and he only started making the mistakes like when he was just having fun with it, and the championship was over. Like bro's got it. He's going to be a real force in the coming years. Like I've had various people who've worked with him say to me, like, this kid is special. Like, you know, I've seen many riders come through. This guy is special. If people like that, are, like, you know, who work with him are saying that, he's got something. So
Hey, my mom tells me that too.
yeah, it's different kind of special, but different kind of special. But yeah, my Moto2 Rider of the Year is Pedro Acosta. And on to Moto2 Team of the Year. Matt, who's your Moto2 Team of the Year?
I had Io as my team of the year.
Okay, why?
I mean, the the way they always seem to not only pick the best riders, but to condition. They consistently just make good riders, and not just super dominant ones, but just consistently good.
Wow.
What
I
about
mean,
Maybe not this year, but your point
Wow.
stands for most years.
yes,
But yeah.
I don't think they didn't make any bad riders this year.
Maybe, but okay, all right, fair enough. If that's how you see it.
I don't
won't
think
fight
they
you.
made a bad rider. That's
Yeah, you arrived a bad rider, but yeah.
yes.
Okay, so you've got Io. Brad, who's your Moto2
Yes.
Team of the Year?
Again, a spin-off from my last answer, which is Speed Up.
Yeah, me too.
Because the massive turnaround in performance. I mean, if they can get another two bikes and they can all perform that well, I'm hoping 2025 will show us more speed ups, and we'll be able to get more of a branched out
Yeah.
X Cup.
Yeah, but also it's worth pointing out that Forward are somehow found something to improve on the Pirellis, which makes sense because it's more of a soft chassis with it being trellis. And also, NTS are returning in 2025. So we are going to have a bit more,
Yes.
like, it's still probably going to be a Kalex Cup for a while, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see a lot more Boscoscaros with various styles on it, because you sort of have to ride to the Boscoscaro as opposed to the Boscoscaro who fits you. But they got two boys on it who pretty much are, well, pretty much just suited to it, didn't they? Like, basically everything you said.
Really, isn't it a really, really stiff chassis?
It is.
From what I've heard.
Yes, it's a very race bike chassis. It's almost still. I don't want to say it's basically the remnants of the Aprilia design in 2009,
That's
but it
exactly
sort of
what I was
is.
gonna say.
Like,
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
like because it's not. It's obviously gone through a lot of evolution, but it's definitely more stiff than the Kalex, which is probably where Agura's going to find and Garcia are going to struggle the first couple of rounds, you know. But once they find it, they'll be good way. But everything you said is basically what I would say. My Moto2 Team of the Year was also Speed Up. They got two really good riders. Even if I think Alonso Lopez is like the most mentally weak rider in the field, his speed can't be doubted. Like when he's on it, he is on it. and
Yeah.
Furman is he got to be the championship favorite next year. He has to be. Like of all the moves that have been made, I think the only one who is even close would be Manu Gonzalez going to Grassini. Otherwise, I think he's going to have a nice, easy year. So,
I think Gonzalez actually will be a good shout next year because of his Pirelli experience, to be honest.
yep, and he was fast out of the box on the Grassini at the test. So, yeah, I think he's the only one who's going to be able to lay a paw on him. But I think, it could be over by by the flyaways in Moto2 next year. If Furman is that good.
Wasn't it him who said that Dunlops is what makes the Moto2 slower?
Yeah.
That they could go faster, but it's the Dunlops that make it slower.
Yep. I mean, and it was proven out of the box, like lap record pace on the first session on the Pirellis at Valencia, So when Manu Gonzalez talks, I think we need to listen now. Because he's clearly talking sense. Yeah, my Moto2 team of the year, Speed Up. On to Moto2 Surprise of the Year. And Brad, who did you have for your Moto2 Surprise of the Year?
How bad Isan Gafara was at the start of the season.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought he was going to be the one that, as opposed to what I said, Gus as Rookie of the Year, I thought it was going to be the other way around. Guevara was going to come out the blocks running, especially with his old Barbash and foe of Pedro Acosta, beating him to Rookie of the Year and Championship in his first year of Moto3. I thought he would go in there with a bit of a point to prove.
Yep.
And it just seems that he got fat and sat on the couch all winter.
Yep, that pretty much is it.
I feel that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him very much, but yeah, totally understandable. But yes, that was pretty much the problem. It's come so easy to Izan Guevara since 2019, winning Talent Cup, winning Chev Moto3 in his debut season, and actually won European Talent Cup in his debut season as well. And then he came up, won races in his first year, won the championship in his second year. You can't blame him for being a little complacent, but moving up to Moto2 onto 180-mile-an-hour bikes is a different ballgame entirely. And he found that out the hard way when he came in fat and partied. And it's only towards the end of the season as he actually looked like he's in shape and interested in riding the bike again. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame, really, because if he had applied himself as Sergio Garcia has, imagine what we could have seen from Izan Guevara, because I still think he is probably one of the top three, most talented in any class of all the riders in the MotoGP paddock. But, yeah. I will accept that as a surprise of the year in a bad way. Matt, who's your Moto2 surprise of the year?
Well, I went for more of an event for the surprise of the year than a person, even though we can still be mad at a particular person. I went for SDK getting sacked. I thought that was quite surprising.
Shocker! American hates American racing for sacking American man.
Yep. I mean, do you like American racing for sacking SDK?
Oh no, American racing could fuck off as far as I'm concerned. I absolutely despise them.
Were you surprised when you heard that?
I was not surprised, but only because I had warning. But
well, okay, when you were warned, were you surprised?
No, because it's ART and they got a history of bollocks.
Well, I was okay. Well, you don't have to be surprised, but I was.
No,
I was not happy about it.
No, that we'll get to ART Line SDK Co on later on for my for one of the other categories, but yeah, I touched on it in the Bad MotoGP Memes podcast when I went on. I went on a nice half-hour rant about their treatment of riders and how SDK didn't deserve it. Luckily, SDK will be okay. He's far too talented to not have a ride, so the way ART treated him, don't like it. So yeah, I'll go for that for surprise of the year, even though it wasn't a surprise because it's just classic ART, My Moto2 surprise of the year was Tony Arbolino, because although I was surprised at the start of the year, towards the end of the season is what I actually expected from Tony. He, constant 6th, 7th, 8th places, mentally fragile, just basically blowing one of the prime seats on Moto 2 at VDS. I can't really say much more than that. The surprise of the year was Tony Arbolino for me, the start of the year, not the end. Because the end was shite.
Okay.
And on to our Moto 2 disappointment of the year. Brad, who was your Moto 2 disappointment of the year?
Well, you've already covered it. I just literally I've written ART. Do I need to say any more?
So
We can move on.
Matt went surprise, you went disappointment. Okay, all right.
Disappointing surprise.
Yeah, well, tell you what, I will let you both have the floor on it when I get to it later on, because we've all mentioned it at some point. So when I get to it later on, we can all have the floor then and say how we really feel about it. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Matt? Who's your Moto 2 disappointment of the year?
I went for Foggia.
Really?
I really expected I wasn't expecting him to just come blasting out the gates, but I really thought he was going to do a little better.
Well, no fool you, sir.
I was. That's why he's the disappointment. I was fooled.
Oh no, I can't. I can't even with that. Like, if expected anything of Dennis Foggia, what a mistake to make. Bloody hell.
That's like expecting England to win the World Cup and then being disappointed that they didn't.
Yeah, they'd be disappointed they knocked out in the quarterfinals. Like, no, why are you expecting anything of Dennis Foggia? I like your enthusiasm, but you're a dumbass.
I didn't expect a lot. I just expected something better.
Didn't expect a lot, and you were still disappointed.
That's what I'm saying. That's quite disappointing.
Bloody hell, that is disappointed. Okay. I will accept it as disappointment of the year. But
well, it doesn't matter. You have to accept it. Period.
Well, I don't have to. It's my podcast. I'll do what I want.
Okay. Don't accept it. Take the time and edit it out.
You knew my weakness.
That was
Damn. Okay. Moto 2 disappointment of the year for me was Albert Arenas. Bro just sucked. I know people are going to whinge.
Yeah,
but he got a podium.
You was the only person in the world that thought he was going to win the championship on that bike.
I did. But yeah, Albert Arenas fucking sucked. Was not prepared to put the work in. Is just not the rider I thought he was. And blew a fantastic seat at Io when he probably should have been challenging for the championship with Pedro. But instead, Pedro made him look like the ordinary rider he is. How he's managed to land a Grassini seat is absolutely beyond me. Like, I wouldn't have paid him to ride my lawnmower after this year. Rubbish. You laugh, but I haven't even got a lawnmower. That's the thing. Just don't even walk around my lawn. Well, then again, I haven't even got a lawn.
That's how bad you are. They won't even let you ride a mower.
yeah, I crash it, so probably. But yeah, Albert Arenas is my Moto 2 disappointment of the year, and he is my entire disappointment of the year. Absolute crap. Not the rider I thought he was. So, before we go on to our MotoGP awards, I asked a couple of you to, well, not a couple of you, I put it on the story. I asked people to put in their awards that they wanted to hear. I picked the top three that made me go, oh, okay, or the top three that made me laugh, or I thought they could be spicy answers. So we'll start with our biggest glow up. They put like someone who probably wasn't expecting to do well and did better than they thought. So my biggest glow up, in fact, I'll let you two go first. Go on, who's your biggest glow up, Matt?
I put Digia.
Yay! Okay, I like your in DG have good stuff. So go on, yeah.
I mean, and even throughout the year, you wouldn't have expected him to do a whole lot, but those last few races, he really actually started to look like something was going on there on the bike.
Yeah, ironically, I think once he knew he was leaving Ducati, they allowed him to use his own settings, and look what happens.
He got the Davi kind of mindset, the fuck it kind of, let's just do it.
I think that was part of it, but also apparently Frankie Carcetti was talking to BT TNT Sports and saying that he's riding with a lot more rear than the other Ducatis.
Oh, really?
Now, it'll be quite interesting to see if Ducati allow him to keep the settings that he's had now that he's going to VR46? Because because apparently Ducati give you parameters, which is quite interesting, and the fact that it works outside of those parameters is just showing how good the Ducati is. But I
Or
mean,
how brilliant he is.
all that. But I mean, a fast rider is a happy rider, isn't it? So to be able to do that,
That'd be stupid to not let him carry on with them settings.
yeah, that's it. But Ducati have almost kicked themselves in the dick with this, I think, because if they don't allow him to use his settings, he's taking up a plum seat. If they
Yeah.
do allow him to use his settings, others are going to be like, well, hang on, why can't I use my settings? So well, actually, I think Frankie Carcetti's probably the one who fucked him because he said it publicly, thinking DG
I
didn't
mean-
have a right.
Either that, or they could probably just change some of their parameters to fit inside whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
So that
Like, why they didn't, they got
It at least
bikes.
looks-
Surely you'd think setting up with every different rider for more data would have been the sensible move, but there we are.
oh, absolutely.
You could physically see his bike was different as well. The
Yeah.
pivot angle on the fork, it was so much more slanted at the front, or
Yeah.
or lower if you like.
Yeah, it would look
And the
more like a
others.
lowrider. You could see it was a longer bike, and if that's what works for DG, then why would you not let him use it? It'd be completely stupid. So yeah, I'm happy he has a seat next year. I must say he did deserve it, and I didn't even think he was that bad. Start of the season.
No, I didn't say bad. It just he just wasn't
Yeah, but people are
up to
saying
scratch with everyone else.
people are saying oh, he doesn't deserve that VR46 seat, this and the other. I would have kept him even before the end of the season, just on his, he's progressing as expected. I don't understand, people just won too much too soon, I think. So yeah,
Oh,
DG is your
absolutely.
biggest glow up, and I like it. What about you then, Brad? Who's your biggest glow up?
I have three.
3. Oh my god! All right, hit it.
I can't pick between the three of them.
All right, we'll put
so-
it to a 3 vote then. Go on.
We'll pick for you.
All right. Well, if this one counts, Mark's smile after his first ride on the Ducati.
Yeah, okay, but
That-
but that doesn't count because it's the 2023 season awards, and that's 2024.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
okay. Well, Zarco back.
Yep.
And Sam Lowe's domination at RF. I know he's inconsistent. I know he's now left the class, but I think that was an awesome swan song for him to just absolutely dominate, even with Pedro Acosta in the field, and just blow everyone else away.
Mm.
I think that was a brilliant moment in the season, and being British, it's better for us, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I've always preached that I won't support a rider just because they're British, but it was very nice to see Lowe's do that.
Between the two, I would say Sam Lowe's is probably the biggest glow up because Zarco's always been right there.
Yeah.
Going from podium to winning is not a huge step, which is a big deal and it's awesome. But I think Lowe's really that domination was it looked very good for him as opposed to how he's looked in the past.
Yeah, I agree. We
He
expected
didn't
more of
just
it.
win that race. No, we did. But he didn't just win that race. I mean, if he rode a season even close to that one race,
Oh, he'd still be going for it.
But that is the story of Sam Lowe's Moto2 career, isn't it?
Indeed.
Oh, so yeah, okay. That one race, that was the biggest glow up. Yeah, I can back it because that should have been Lowe's all season, especially after challenging for the title not 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Baffling how he couldn't do it. But there we are. My biggest glow up is actually a team. I've gone with RW Racing because they've gone from no points to lots of points. I don't know exactly how many they had. I didn't bother looking. But,
At
I mean,
least two.
yeah. Well, 2 consistent point scorers by the end of the season with Barry Baltus and Zonta. Zonta's 6 in India was like magic. To not score any points for 1.5 years to then go to 6th in India was like, wow, this kid's got it. Now he's got the season for the next 2 years, and Barry Baltus is, we know how good Barry Baltus is. Let's be honest. He's got that special something. So for RW to get both of those was just fantastic for me.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. Actually, I didn't. To be honest, that didn't even cross my mind. That's how much they go under the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And I think that's what's going to make them like so surprising in the years to come.
Yeah.
Because of they're just doing what they're supposed to, but doing well at it.
Yeah, that's it. They'll be running I believe they'll be running the NTS chassis. It'll either be them or Team MMR in 2025. Possibly both, which would be cool. So, they'll be different as well. So they'll have a bit more attention on them, which will be really cool. But yeah, my biggest glow up was RW because they just, compared to last year, they scored so many more points. Next one is biggest cock up. So what's your two? First of all, then, Matt, what's your biggest cock up?
Well, mine can be summarized with a statement over a series of events, with Aleix being a bonehead.
Okay.
Do I need to pick a certain event to start with?
Yeah, you've got to explain yourself. You can't just leave a blanket statement like that.
Well, who?
What are you, a politician?
Who just smacks people on the back in the middle of the track like that?
Aleix Espargaro.
Exactly. And who else has done that?
Romano Fenati.
Exactly. Another bonehead.
Bonehead.
Yeah. So, I mean, the incident with yelling at his crew chief over the going out too early, and just a lot of people just say, oh, he's passionate. Well, everyone is that's doing it, but you have to conduct yourself properly. And when you do something as public as that, it's a rather large cock up.
Okay. Yeah, okay. When as soon as you said Aleix, I was like, he's going to have trouble justifying this, but no, you did. Fair play to you. Disappointed that you actually managed to justify it, but there we are. It is where it is. Mm-hmm. What about you then, Brad? What's your biggest cock up?
Jake Dixon saying he outsmarted Pedro and they didn't even get the top 3 in the championship.
Yep. Yeah, that was
that's a good one.
That was not his fight. Well, I mean, he's had a couple of not finest hours this year, but that was not his finest hour.
Is that actually a cock?
Yeah.
Dixon.
Yeah, I'd say it is.
I'm pretty sure that's just how Jake Dixon is. So I don't.
Well, I'd feel a bit of a cock if I made that statement. Yeah, what he did.
Yeah.
Do you think he feels like a cock?
I don't think he has the capability to feel that way, to be perfectly honest with you, but he should.
Yes, he should. But
yeah, I
think that's what maybe makes him even more of a cock, is because he doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like that guy who doesn't know he's the arsehole of the group. Like, that's what he is. Like how you are with us, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. That's what he's like. No, I reckon that would have the point where he would have thought, like, oh, I'm a cock, would have been when he wasn't taking his suit to the awards show, because he lost that third position just fucking around. Yeah, I like that. I like that one. Anything to say more to say about it, Brad?
Yeah, I just think he's. I personally, with Jake, I think he lacked performance in focus towards the end of the year. He talks himself up to, I'm going to definitely win the championship. I am the next Moto2 world champion. And I think he's got it in his head so much that he doesn't actually have to really try. I'm not saying he doesn't train. I'm sure he trains very hard.
I know what you mean. He thinks it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah. I mean, in that last race, if it was me and I'd seen Fermin Aldeguer clearing off, obviously it's not me because I'm nowhere near that talent level. But if I saw Fermin Aldeguer clearing off and I saw my third in the championship going off down the road, that would have been win it or bin it for me. I wouldn't have been. You'd settle for, if you're settling for fourth, then there's no point racing because you would have got that anyway.
Not even a bronze medal.
Yeah.
And you haven't even mentioned his Silverstone debacle with Darren Binder. Like.
Oh
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's just had so many moments this year where you've just thought, oh, what a cock.
Goddamn cocky Brits.
Yeah, I know. fucking useless.
The fucking
I'm
worst.
not classifying myself with them. I'm not English, you know. I'm out of the way of this. I'm not
Sure,
associated
keep
with
telling
myself.
yourself that.
We got a border, thank you. We haven't got a what do you call it anymore? We haven't got a toll booth, but we definitely got a bridge. So you know it counts.
All right, whatever helps you sleep at night.
Well, not much, but there we go. Um, my biggest cock up, and now I'm gonna launch into it, is ART letting Sean Dylan Kelly go because what in the fuck was that about? Like it, answers on a postcard. What the fuck are they doing? I just, I despise ART even before this, and then to hear that they are letting SDK go halfway through the season, proclaiming him to be injured so that they could bring Marcos Ramirez in, while SDK himself is on record as saying, "I'm not injured. I'm riding bikes. Look at me." Like,
He posts a supermoto training clip up when they said he was injured, didn't he?
yeah, he
Yeah,
gave me
that
permission to go on the Bad MotoGP Memes podcast and say publicly he was not injured. He was not injured, and he told me this from his own words. You know, like how ART have conducted themselves is just a fucking joke. And if it was up to me, I would kick them out on their year and have one less Moto2 team because they are just a paddock cancer. Absolute bollocks.
did you hear
I
their
agree.
defence to why they got rid of Rory and SDK?
I
Is
didn't
that
consider it a defence, but
well, it was that they're the only two riders that haven't, wasn't it?
yeah, absolute joke.
And because they're underperforming. Oh yeah.
Absolute joke. Roy Skinner did 15 races in Moto2 before they sacked him. 15! Like,
Which I guess we've seen people do less races and get sacked,
yeah, but
but still.
yeah, this is the kind of behaviour you expect of ART or Bosco Oscaro. And this year it was ART. But, oh, fuck those guys. Honestly, just fuck all
Yeah.
of them. Like, it,
I'm really interested to. I'm so baffled why they brought Joe back. Like, is it just because they
they
wanted
needed
an
an American
American?
to placate the American public because they sacked the American.
But I don't get that because it's
What's Joe
Jo-
Roberts going to do?
Sho-
I think Joe's had his time.
Oh, absolutely.
think
Joe had his
Exactly.
time in 2020. I wouldn't even have given him a seat in 2021, let alone 2024.
and I'm not saying Joe's bad. He's not as great as I wish he was, but at the same time, SDK he needs some time on the bike and get adjusted and learn, and he could be great. Like I don't get why they think they're just going to pick up top rider right off the bat.
Yeah, but what pissed me off more was the fact that Marcos Ramirez actually did get a podium. Like,
Just to verify what they did.
yeah, like I like Marcos Ramirez on the whole. I think he's a fantastic rider, but I do not want him to succeed for ART.
Yeah,
Anybody else, I would love to see him up there, but anybody who hops on that ART, I want to see them fail because I want to see the team fail. Like
Yeah.
if I was Dorna, I would absolutely ensure that Ethan Bitbull does not get within 500 meters of that paddock entrance. I wouldn't. I like. I'm fully expecting the way I'd been ploughing him online for him to give me like some kind of subpoena or something. But anyway, it is what it is. Fuck you, Heaton Bitbull. Fuck you. So yeah, my biggest cock up was ART letting Sean Dylan Kelly go. Brainless move, and to a point, Rory Skinner, because Rory was doing what was expected. He was getting closer and closer. Man, fuck
Yep.
those guys. It's just gonna get me fucking heated, and I don't want to be too heated. It's supposed to be a fun, nice awards podcast, but I can't say it enough. Fuck ART.
Well, this is award for biggest cocks, and there is a bunch of them in ART.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I can. There we are then. So it works.
it does.
Yeah, fuck ART. Our biggest brain fade moment is next, and that was the third of the three that we got sent to pick out. So, Brad, what was your biggest brain fade moment?
Well, my biggest brain fade moment and person is Alonso Lopez. It seems to me when he sits on a grid, it's brain out, helmet on. Just one standout antic that he caused this year was Sam Lowes at Magello. And again, that's not because Sam Lowes is British, it's just the first one that popped to my head.
Well, I would
Abundance.
say that, yes, because not only did Alonso Lopez cause it, but then he had the cheek to go on Instagram and complain about Dorna's decision.
Yeah.
Like, bro. Fuck it.
Yeah, and there was I even think in at the last round of Valencia, the amount of lunges, he was coming from like 100 meters back and just lets the brake off and rights into the side of people if they don't move. Yeah, I just think his chucks his brain on the floor and puts his helmet on and off he goes.
Like, while I think you do need a certain amount of brain out if you're going to make those lunges, I think he does go too far. He's a very good looking boy, and I don't want to see that face get smashed up, you know what I mean? Like, but it's going to happen if he continues riding the way he does. So, yeah, I would back Alonso Lopez's biggest brain fade for like over the course of the season. Terrible. What about you then, Matt? What's your biggest brain fade moment?
I put down ART. So maybe we should just gloss past that one since we just slated them for about 5 minutes.
No, feel free to slate them a bit more. It's fine.
We already did, so let's just keep moving.
All right, then. So your brain fade moment is ART's antics in general, okay? And
Yeah.
mine was Alicia Spargaro on Frankie Morbidelli. Like, what was bro thinking doing that? Like, you
Well, he
can't
wasn't.
smack people on the Swede just because they happen to be slightly in front of you on circuit. Like, Morbidelli, for his part, I think was quite classy about it, even though he went on Instagram and was like, "Karma, I'll catch up with you." But
Yeah.
like, I think on the whole he conducted himself well. He didn't want to talk about it, but I don't think they'll be friends after that. Like, that's the kind of shit that you just cannot do. Like, going and smacking someone on the fucking lid just because they've annoyed you. Nah, bro.
Well,
That's-
you fucked up if you have Frankie mad at you, because I'm pretty sure he's just very, in general, easy to get along with.
yeah, I think like
don't-
there's a case
He's
that he
not a
might
hothead
be.
rider. He's not.
Hmm.
He doesn't do anything ridiculous.
Yeah, I think he might be the single most nice guy on this planet. So if you're pissed off, if he's, my God, I can't do English. If he's pissed off with you, you done fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my biggest brain fade moment was Alish smacking Morbidelli on the bulb. And now to the big class. We're not going to do Rookie of the Year because there was only one, and Augusto Fernandez sewed that up in Qatar. Job done. So we go straight to our MotoGP Rider of the Year. Matt, who's your MotoGP Rider of the Year?
I took Martin.
Okay, why?
Well, number one, with the introduction of the new sprint class or the sprint race this year, he excelled in that. I mean,
That's expected.
did he win? I mean, he was so dominant in the sprint races, but yet still performed very well in most of the long races. So that just shows his actual speed and tire conservation and management is actually quite good.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't particularly like Jorge Martin, so I don't particularly want to hear much praise for him, but okay, fair enough. Brad, who's your MotoGP Rider of the Year?
Danny Pedrosa.
I love it.
That's funny because I really thought about.
Jumps
on
on the KTM. Jumps on the KTM as a wild card. He almost chucks it on the podium. I think it's 5 years out he's had. He's 38.
Mhm.
And we're forgetting that this is someone that was told around about 17 years ago, I believe, that he was too small for a MotoGP bike, which had around about 100 horsepower less than what they do now. And he can still muscle one round to make everyone else look stupid.
I love that.
Well,
I didn't really think of Danny P as like I was thinking full-time riders, but I'm not going to change my answer now because of who I picked. But absolutely loved what Danny did. He was
yeah,
like I did predict that he'd get a Jerez pole position, mind you, but for a sprinkling of rain, I think it would have happened. And then for him to come out and he embarrassed everybody. Like he embarrassed a lot of full-time riders in his appearances this year. Granted, he was riding a
He
totally different
absolutely
KTM, but that's his job.
different KTM. 5 years out is an old man and he's 5 foot nothing.
Yeah, 5 foot in the fart, and he's just I love Danny P.
Yeah.
What a boy he is, and like I think he's definitely chilled out with age as well. Now he's just like,
I think if he came in for a championship, full championship, even now, the second year on the KTM, I think he would be top 3.
oh no, I would call it right now. I would go on record as saying he would win a world championship next year if he came back on a KTM that they've just hopped off. Simple.
Yeah.
He is aside from Mark. Like Mark would probably be the only one who beat him, to be fair. But if he won a championship, then I would not be surprised because both him and Mark are the only aliens who are still riding. Like
Yep.
the rest of this field is nowhere near their talent level. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll have Fabio Quartararo stands going, yeah, but look at Fabio. Nah, fam. Not even close. Sorry. But yeah, I like the Danny P shout. I could go for that. My MotoGP rider of the year was Pecco Bagnaia. I was actually quite surprised with Pecco in that I didn't expect him to retain his championship. And much less when he was leading the World Championship, I didn't expect him to stay solid. I thought he'd crack. But he didn't. He just carried on and on and on, kept trucking away. And in the end, the one who cracked was Jorge Martin. Like,
Did he crack though?
well, he did. He crashed
did he
out of the
just-
final race because of an error that he made.
I don't. Maybe a small amount of crack, but I don't think he didn't fall apart or anything.
No, he didn't fall apart like in the classic sense, but of the
Yeah.
two, Jorge Martin cracked more than Pecco because he's the one who made the error at the crucial time. Which I expected Pecco to be the one making the error at the crucial time, honestly. But he didn't.
See, I'd be a bit biased towards that because I'm not really a Pecco fan. I see him as a bit of a whinger. Like, he's the Jorge Lorenzo of this era of MotoGP.
Yeah. Like, I will not hear slander against the god that is Jorge Lorenzo, but carry on.
No, I love Jorge Lorenzo, but
But yeah, he
Lorenzo
did love a
was a
winch, didn't he? He did love a winch.
And we
Yeah.
have quite the split opinion.
the difference is between Bagnaia and Lorenzo is that I could watch Lorenzo ride all day long, no matter how much he whinged. Pecco hasn't got that for me, and he whinges as well, so that makes me not like him.
Yeah. Like, I'm not a Pecco fan, but I was genuinely impressed at how he won 2 championships in 2 years in different ways. You have to admire that as much as, like, I would suggest this is the weakest era of rider in MotoGP for a very long time. He still won a championship
Yes.
after coming from behind, oh matron, and he's won one from leading from the front. Like, you have to applaud that. So that's my MotoGP rider of the year is Pecco Bagnaia, but I'm not happy about it. So yeah, and on to MotoGP Team of the Year. Brad, who did you go for your MotoGP Team of the Year?
Pramac.
Yep,
I
makes
think
sense.
everyone can agree with Pramac.
Well, satellite team winning the
for-
championship.
Yeah, taking it to the factory team, giving Zarco his first win.
Yeah.
We know Zarco's been with Pramac for a while, and it's obviously a collective effort to give him his first win, as he's been with so many other different teams.
Yeah.
He's ridden just about every bike, I think, even ones that didn't exist no more. So
it.
yeah, that's the reason for Pramac for me.
Yeah, I like it. What about you, Matt? Who is your MotoGP Team of the Year?
I went for VR46.
Oh, there's a shock. VR46 Stan goes for VR46.
Yeah, who would have thought? I mean, but Bez did well.
He did.
Marini, he did not do as well as I was hoping, but he did do well.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean,
Did
Bez
you,
at the beginning of the year was a lot more impressive, but at the same time, you can even they almost like have the Moto 3 mindset where they like work together out on the track during some of the practices. Not all the time, but they do.
Yeah. But was it not you who, at the start of this season, said Luca Marini is going to win the World Championship?
I did not. I said he would be in the podium.
Ah, yes. and you were wrong about that as well.
I claimed Pecco to win at the beginning of the year.
Yes, you did, but but that was I've slept since then. But yeah, I do distinctly remember you bigging up Luca Marini, and then
Because you had Bez
I
as
did.
winning.
which was closer than Marini.
It-
But then again, I predicted Albert Arenas to win the Moto2 championship, so what the fuck do I know?
Yeah, and I just picked Pecco, so what do I know?
Yeah, that's it. Damn it. But yeah, VR46 is not a bad shout. My MotoGP team of the year might surprise you, but I've gone for RNF. And I'll tell you for why. Because RNF,
do.
right, a fully fit Miguel Oliveira would have been challenging in the top four for the championship. I have no doubts about that on that 2022 Aprilia, because I think the 22 Aprilia was actually better than the 23. But for this is the one of the few times where I think I can actually claim that someone's had bad luck as opposed to putting themselves in harm's way, because the amount of times that Miguel Oliveira got bonked, he must have booted a black cat underneath a ladder. Like, there's no other explanation. The amount he got bonked out of contention and got hurt was just ridiculous. And then Raul Fernandez having to have the arm operation for arm pump, finds his feet, and look how well he does at the end of the year. Like, it's just...
Yep.
I think if both had been fully fit, like, obviously it's a case of if your mother had wheels, she'd be a bike, wouldn't she? It's just, if RNF, both riders were fully fit, I think they genuinely could have competed for independent teams of the year over Pramac. But it didn't work out that way. But, I also would like to say I'm a bit sad that Razlan's going to miss out on a year now and going to see Trackhouse come in and take his livery over in his team. But that's what happens when you trust crypto.
Is Trackhouse going to be another shithouse like ART though?
I don't
I hope
think so.
not.
From what I've gathered with their NASCAR effort, they are actually a very, very good team. They took over, oh god, Ganassi, I think it was Ganassi Racing,
Yeah,
and apparently they've improved them, and apparently Ganassi were one of the best. So I really am quite confident that Trackhouse can build something really well here. But it's still, Razlan's going to be seeing him winning, and then he's going to be crying, which is going to be sad. But yeah, my MotoGP team of the year were RNF, if their riders have been fully fit. So I'll do a MotoGP surprise of the year. Matt, who was your MotoGP surprise of the year?
I picked the backflip man.
Jay Zarco Misur.
I did not think I would ever see the backflip.
Same,
I
honestly, same.
I thought we were going to get to see a second place backflip right before he retires. I never thought I'd get to see a winning backflip.
Nah, not me. And to do it the way he did. Like, well, basically, he probably cost Jorge Martin the title. if he'd held everybody off and let Martin win that Aussie race, I think the championship would have gone very differently. But he thought, nah, fuck this, I won my win. Respect to the man. He didn't play the team game for once, and he won.
I don't think you should play the team game. If you can't win the race, you don't deserve the points. So
yeah,
don't be giving up your positions.
I think team orders should be banned to an extent.
Like, I don't think it would have been a Pramac order per se, but Zarco's a nice dude, isn't he? And I fully expect him to just do it for Martin.
Oh, absolutely. But
he just said,
think
fuck it, I won the win.
Hungry for that win. Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely didn't think it would come, and then I started seeing him creeping up towards it, and I was like, this could happen. Holy shit, this could happen. And then, like, seeing the backflip and seeing the crowd, it was a real tearjerker. It was like, oh, fuck, finally.
It was. Oh, yeah.
This should have happened 3 years ago, really. But better late than never, I guess. What about you then, Brad? Who's your MotoGP surprise of the year?
Digi for turning his GP career around. To be honest, I thought when he first got the ride, I do now, but when he first got the ride, I didn't believe he deserved the ride.
Okay.
And looking at his performance on the first season, that sort of backed it up. And then the first half of this season, it backed it up even more. And now look at him. And I'm actually happy for him because I like him. if you're not good enough to play for Real Madrid, you don't play for Real Madrid, do you? Or whatever.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
and that's why he was a surprise for me.
no, I like it. I'll never not take an opportunity to praise DG. I've always really liked DG. Even in his Moto2 days, he always did things differently, which I liked. You know, he was never part of like an academy. He did things his own way, and now doing it his own way has paid off with his settings, and he's got himself a VR46 seat, which fully deserved. And you know, on a GP23, because I can't really see what Ducati can do on that GP24 with the concessions rules now, that's going to make the GP23 worse. Like he could genuinely be up there challenging. Like the only problem is going to be that Marc Marquez is just going to batter everybody by about 100 points. But you know, that's by the by. He could easily challenge for second.
I'll bet anyone now that he's going to batter everyone by 100 points.
I've put it publicly on the story. I will stand by this. And I said it before he even hopped on that Ducati. Now I'm even more confident after seeing what he did. But
we shall see.
I think it's going to be all over before the flyaways. Not even joking. He's just going to come out, right, and he's going to be like, look at me, I am the god. And he's just going to clear off. It's going to be incredible.
Yep. Agreed.
So yeah, your MotoGP surprise of the year was DG, which I like it. My MotoGP surprise of the year was Jorge Martin. I didn't think he had it in him to challenge towards the championship for the final race. I still don't think he's got it in him to challenge towards the championship until the final race. And it's not going to happen again. I think he's missed his boat. I would not let that man within 500 metres of a factory bike. I don't think he is the answer to anybody's questions. Enea Bastianini, provided he doesn't get nerfed in the first race of the year next year, is going to absolutely tune him next year. But I'm still very surprised that he did manage to get within championship distance. You know, I think this was his coup de grace, and this is the best he's ever going to be. And which surprised me because I didn't think he'd be there. But
nope, I know we've had this debate before. But nope, I still think he should have been the one on the factory seat, not Enea, and I think this year proved it. And I think it's only going to fuel him more for next year.
I can't back that statement saying it proved it when Enea was hurt as badly as he was for the good amount of the year. If he'd beaten a fit Bastianini fair and square, I would back your statement. But next year's going to be the acid test because Enea's got 3 or 4 riders breathing down his neck now for that factory bike.
But the whole thing of being able to stay fit is, I think he just, I don't think he's quite up to scratch. I think he makes a lot of bonehead mistakes is why he got himself hurt.
Oh, and I don't know about that.
I think all of it's irrelevant anyway, because I think 2025 Marquez is going to have that contract waved in his face anyway.
Oh.
No, he's not. Marc Marquez, just for the record,
if he wins the championship next year, he will.
No, just for the record, for 2025, Marc Marquez is going back to Honda. Just saying.
No.
Yeah, he is. I've been told by a few people that it's already signed.
So what? He's doing the Rossi move.
Yeah, he's just
for a year, come back.
Yeah, get his 9th title, come back, win it on the 10th, then on the Honda. That's his plan. So yeah. So I don't expect to see Mark in red at any point. Well, actually, yeah, expect to see Mark in red, but Honda red, because it's not going to be Repsol either. So yeah, that's gonna be what happens in 2025. And if the bike is even half as good as if they doubled the performance of the current Honda, it'll still be half as good as the Ducati, but Marc Marquez will still win on it. It's that simple.
Yeah, because Marquez is more than 50% better than the rest of the field.
Exactly. And people don't see it, and I don't understand how. I think if you started watching in 2020, you wouldn't understand what I'm saying. But if you started watching in 2015, 2016, 2019, Marc Marquez is still the single most rounded package of any rider ever. And I would put 2019 Marc Marquez against anybody in the world and he would beat them. That simple. And wouldn't even be close.
I think that's my reason for not rating the current MotoGP grid, because I always compare them to them. And the comparison is not non-existent. 2019 Marquez would obliterate every single rider on the field.
I think this year's world champion Pekka Bagnaia would not even be top 6 in the Alien era.
No,
Simple as.
no, I think he would struggle top 8.
Yeah, I would back it, to be honest. And our last one in the MotoGP category. Now, this will be an interesting one because I think we may all have different answers here. Who was your MotoGP disappointment of the year, Brad?
Japan.
What?
The whole of Japan.
I thought you meant the race. I was
and-
like, what did Motegi do?
No. Sorry. The whole of Japan. As both Japanese manufacturers have let slip, that proves that it's not just a Yamaha Honda thing. It proves this is a mentality, and it's just Japan as a collective clearly not being able to work in the right direction to evolve as quickly as MotoGP does. So, Japan is
Interesting.
it for me because I'm a Japanese bike fan. So
The problem there is Japan listened during COVID and weren't working during COVID, whereas the Europeans were. Like, it's really horrible to criticize Japan because they listened to the COVID restrictions. Like, it's horrible, but like they've suffered for doing the right thing, which is so cruel. But this is sport, and any advantage, you take it. But you've got to feel a little sorry for the Japanese for actually doing the right thing and getting bummed for it, basically.
No, I don't. Don't tell me what I have to do.
Yeah, you do. I'm telling you now.
Nope.
Okay, so okay, that's fine. Who was your MotoGP disappointment of the year then, Matt? So I can shit all over there.
Aleix.
Fuck you. Not even joking. I wasn't even shitting all over that just for the sake of it. Fuck you.
He got 2 wins, which is great, but he should
Bro
have had
doubled his win tally.
more. Oh, okay, double. Let's say double, like it's a huge difference.
Doesn't
between
matter.
1 and 2.
How can you say
No.
someone who doubled their win tally for the year is a disappointment?
He's
Fuck
a
outta here.
disappointment because he let his intrusive thoughts win and did lots of not very rider-friendly things.
Intrusive thoughts, Alish. What a bastard.
Indeed.
Alright then.
It's very disappointing to see people acting like that.
It is.
I wonder how angry Aleix gets when his missus tells him he's got to have McDonald's and he's not allowed to ride his push bike. Probably the reaction she gets.
Oh. Everybody said that. Like, what's he like at home? But I don't know if he gets pissed at home, you know? How could you be pissed off looking at it? Like, you see, wake up next
Here
to
we
his wife.
go.
You know, you wouldn't be pissed off, would
Here
you?
we go.
I'll keep it short. But yeah, fuck you for picking a leash. But okay, you know, I'll allow it. My MotoGP disappointment of the year is very much in the vein of your Dennis Foggia pick, Matt. I've gone for Fabio Quartararo. I expected fuck all, and I was still disappointed.
See, I thought about picking him, but then I thought about it for a moment, and he had many races where he pushed as hard as he could.
Yeah,
Some races it ended up well, but the Yamaha's just not there.
yeah.
And I'm
but
not
whose fault
blaming
is
it
that?
all on him, on Yamaha, but it's. I don't know if there's I don't know if there's a lack of.
A lot of it on Fabio.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
would
Fabio
suggest
can-
90% of the Yamaha struggles are to do with Fabio Quartararo because he.
I
I don't think
disagree
he
with
can
that.
develop a bike as long as he's got a hole in his ass.
Yeah, literally, like, bro's just. I mean, you've given him exhaust for fuck's sake that Frankie Morbidelli can feel, and he's saying I can't feel no difference. But you want to make a better bike with a guy like that? Nah, fam, it's not how it's gonna work. What they should have done, right? What Yamaha should have done was signed up Alex Rins and Johan Zarco and gotten rid of Fabio Quartararo. Let him go on that Ducati because I've got no qualms in saying that Fabio Quartararo is, in terms of pure outright speed, is in the top 3 in the championship. Put him on the Ducati, he would be 3rd or 4th best Ducati, and he would be alright. Meanwhile,
4th.
yeah, I would put Marc Marquez, Pecco Bagnaia, Marco Bezzecchi, and Jorge Martin ahead of him if he was on Ducati. But nonetheless, that's by the by. But then you would have had Alex Rins as team leader on the Yamaha. You also would have had Johann Zarco, who knows what a good bike should feel like, is a known developer if Ducati have trusted you and you've made it into this, along with Pirro, obviously. That's what Yamaha should have done, but instead they kept Fabio Q, and all we're going to hear in 2024 is a little bit of bitching. Like, he's already fucking started. He said, I look slow. Like, bro, shut up. Just, oh, no. I do not like Fabio Quartararo. He does not have the mindset to succeed.
Hater.
Yep, Fabio Quartararo hater right here. I will not deny it because I just don't see the hype. Like, I totally see why all the girls like him, don't get me wrong. And probably a few guys, you know, we're inclusive here. But it's like, what else does he have going for him, really? You know what I mean? He just, nah, I just don't rate Fabio Quartararo. He's had his day. He will never win another World Championship. And
No.
he's going to disappear into obscurity in World Superbikes by the age of 27. Simple as.
I would say Maverick Vinales is more likely to win a world championship than Quartararo to win a second.
Yep, agreed. I genuinely believe, right, that come 2025, when he is out the contract, he's going to have a rude awakening thinking everybody's going to want him. And in reality, nobody's going to touch him with a barge pole because all he does is cry and whinge while not succeeding. And also does not have a plan B. You know, like, if it doesn't work, it continues to not work. Throughout that weekend, he doesn't change anything. Nah. Do not rate Fabio Quartararo. Yeah, so he was my disappointment of the year. Even though I expected fuck all, I was still disappointed. What did I tell you? So, yeah. And now, what we did, I actually sent them all the categories and told them to write their answers down. I kept one that I didn't write because I want your opinion off the cuff for this. What was your best moment of the entire year in anything? First up, Matt. Go. And he's speechless. Awesome. Oh no. Oh no.
Sorry, I
Oh no.
accidentally
Are we
muted.
talking any championship here?
No, anything, like any what was like your moment of the year in the MotoGP paddock for anything?
You can't put me on the
That's
spot first.
MotoGP.
For anything, yeah, like not World Superbikes, etc. Like within the MotoGP paddock for anything. What was your
Okay.
best moment of the year? You know, the one moment where you just thought, "Fuck, I love this sport."
You know what? I'll go first then. Pecco winning the championship because it validated that I was right and you were wrong.
Okay then. All right. Well, we'll see next year when we do those predictions again, and then we'll see just how right you are. But okay, like if that's the hill you want to die on, by the way, is your best moment of the year was Pecco Bagnaia winning the World Championship, then I'm fine with it because that's gonna go
Yep.
on record that that's your moment of the year.
Yep, that's fine.
All right then. Okay.
But you have to put it down as me being right. and
No,
you
no,
as
no.
wrong.
All that it's gonna say is Pecco Bagnaia winning the championship. That's all it's gonna say.
That's a good one. I'm a Pecco fan.
Ugh. I knew there was something I didn't like about you.
There's a lot of things you don't like about me.
It is very
But
true,
yeah.
actually. But you know, I still put up with you, so it's all good. What about you then, Brad? What is your moment of the year?
Because it's unexpected, and actually there isn't a moment that's made me more excited, was when Marc Marquez put that dog shit Honda on the podium in the first sprint race of the season. I thought, he's dragging that piece of shit round, and he's going to win a championship on that absolute shithouse of a bike, and then it all went downhill from there.
Yeah, see, then
That was an
Miguel got
exciting moment
Miguel'd,
for me.
and that was the end of it.
Yeah. But that was an exciting. That was one of the most exciting moments for me because I got that tingle of like, haha, Marquez is back, and then he was back in the hospital. That was the only place he went back to.
Yeah, yep. It's I think what summed up Mark's year was the Mugello crash, where the front went for about 3 weeks, and he was trying so hard to save it. And
Yeah.
I think it just any other year, Mark would have saved it. But the combination of the current Mark coming back and that absolute dog shit pre-update Honda, That summed it up for me. But yeah, I'm gonna end
Yeah.
it on a very good one. My whole moment of the year, right, came in India when Sean Dillon Kelly put the forward into the points for the first time in the year. Like after getting sacked from ART, doing what he was doing, to then get it into a single point on a bike he had not yet ridden. Oh, magic, magic! Really was two fingers up to ART for me. Just like, oh, so wholesome. I loved it.
Yes, ass.
Yeah, no, it's not even like it's like he's gonna listen to this, is it? Let's be honest. Like, no, it was so good to see like in the manner he'd been
No,
sacked.
you're right. You're right.
Like if he'd just
As
been sacked on performance, I would have been like, oh, just another moment kind of thing. But the manner in which he did it, and then to come back and be like, hey, fuck you,
no, that is a very feel good moment. I agree.
yeah, it was just so wholesome. I loved it. So yeah, that was our. Oh, sorry, there's blue lights flashing outside my window. Oh well, they finally coming for me. Yeah, but that was our end of season award podcast. Don't expect any over winter. Probably not gonna happen. Might happen if I can be bothered. If not, enjoy this, and we will see you next season. So, thank you for attending, Matt and Brad, and we will speak to you soon.